So today we will be starting our sewing, and number one basically is just interfacing, showing the pieces that you should interface. Number two is just telling you that you may need to shorten your zipper. Number three, which is A through E, 3A through E, is installing installing the fly front. So we're going to go ahead and do that. So grab pattern piece number one. You can see all the alterations that I did to mine. Alrighty. And of course, right sides together. But my first thing, I'll just tell you, I'm going to get my marking tool and I'm going to mark 5/8 all the way here, okay? I'm going to, from here all the way over, I'm going to mark out what 5/8 is, and I'm going to permanently stitch that, okay? So back stitch at the zipper stop and go all the way to the inseam with a permanent stitch at 5/8 seam allowance, and then from the zipper stop all the way up into the top, I'm going to do that as a basting stitch, which is the highest stitch length on your machine. Mine is a 5, so I'm going to do that. So go ahead and do yours the same way. Come back when you're done. All right, so back from the sewing machine, and I forgot to interface the fly portion. So if you didn't already do that, go ahead and do that. So base it here at the top of the fly, around the curve, went ahead and permanently stitch. So what you want to do is, this is your zipper stop here. So you want to cut toward that, but not through. All right. Just want to open it up. Alrighty, so now we are going to start installing the zipper. And I use an extra long zipper. I want to say this is 9 inches. And because I like to keep the stops out the way, and you can just cut the rest off at, toward the very end, instead of using the exact zipper and then have to, fight around that zipper stop. All right, so let's see how I can do this so it's best for the camera. Okay. All right, so I open mine up like so. So now that it's flat, okay, and I put my zipper, that's the best we can see it, yes. And what I also do is, because you can't really see it, the zipper stop, or I can't, I go ahead and put where it's at on this right side, so I know where to stop sewing. So I try to have the zipper stop, so the bottom one at least an inch below here, so I don't, interfere with it, and the same thing, inch above the top. So since mine is very long, no problem there. So I'll just make sure that the bottom is at least an inch away. And what you want to do is put your zipper tape. I'm starting on my right side as worn, so right side, and you should be looking at the wrong side facing up. All right. So I will lay the zipper tape so it's right along the seam. Okay. And once I do that, I'll pick up just the extension part, okay? Because I only want to work on the zipper tape and the extension. And then I'll move everything to the side. You can do this before, it'll basically be the same thing. And now you're going to stitch right side of the flap to right side of the tape. So where you pin at, it's totally up to you, but just know you'll be sewing the right side of the tape to the right side of the fly. So here I kind of pin both for this initial one. And remember, your zipper should be face down. So now what you're going to do is take it to the sewing machine, and you're going to, using your zipper foot, you should have changed it already if you haven't. So it doesn't even matter where. Try to make it in the middle, but it really doesn't matter. It's not going to be seen. So sew from the top all the way down to your zipper stop. Okay, all right, so back from the sewing machine, stitch right side of the tape to right flap. All right, so now what we're going to do is just flip this over. So take the zipper tape and just flip it over. So now your zipper should be face up. All right, and now just pin here, because what you're going to do is just secure this to the zipper tape. All right, and so what you want to do is try to sew, you know, here at the photo edge, maybe 1/8 of an inch away, again, from however you positioned on your sewing machine, but you want to stop at the zipper stop. So you may actually start here. So if you start here, you know, start at the zipper stop and go all the way up and back stitch. Do that and come back. Now we have to do the left side. So what you want to do is kind of open it up, lay it flat, and basically just let it flop where it wants to flop on that left hand side. Don't try to force it any other way. Just press it down, make sure that it is flat. Once it's flat, grab the left side of extension, left side of the zipper tape, move everything else out the way, and you want to pin along this side. And now what you're going to do is, you guessed it, attach it. So you're going to sew from the zipper stop, which I probably can't see here. Where is it at? Here, there we go. Right here. So from the zipper stop, mine is right here. So from the zipper stop all the way up to the top with the regular stitch, do that and come back. Okay, so for all intents and purposes, your zipper should be attached to the fly, right? All right, so it should naturally want to rest on the left side of your pants as worn. All right. So what you want to do from this point is just stick a couple pins in it, because you need to draw, and you just don't want it to move any while you do that. Alrighty, so from looking at the right side and knowing that your zipper stop is here, I think I kind of saw it through it. Yeah, it's right there. Okay, so this is my zipper stop, because you can kind of see the marker coming through. So that's where you want to curve your angle going into. Now I always have a template made already, and that's just what I kind of use, but you can definitely use the template that's on your pattern. All right, so I just draw around my template a guideline for stitching. It ends at that zipper point zipper stop, I should say. Alrighty, and then what I usually do is just go anywhere from 1/4 to 1/2 inch. You can even do 3/8 underneath there. And I tack it about 3/8. So 3/8 down, 3/8 over. I use that as a little extra tack. So go ahead and top stitch this, and I usually do my top stitching at 3, and we'll move on. One note before we move to the sewing machine. You most definitely can now pin from the right side now that you have your markings. Okay. Remove the ones from the other side. Kept it in place. Alrighty. Okay, so a little bit of water is just me removing my marking tool there. So now you want to reveal your fly by opening up your basting stitches. And after you do this, give it a good press to kind of set it in place. And your fly is finished. And try to remember to clean up your loose threads and everything as you go. Just makes cleanup a lot easier when it comes to that. Alrighty, so that's basically done. I'll give that a good press. You can check that your fly is working. It's functional. There you go. This one does not have a guard, but you know, maybe I'll show you. Doesn't have a guard, but usually I have a template for the guard too. I may just go ahead and do a guard because I just like the way it looks. So if you can find a template of a guard from any one of your patterns, go ahead and use that and cut out a piece of fabric and make all the markings on it, and come back and I'll show you how to do the guard. It's very simple to install. All right, so this is a cutout of my guard, and what you want to do is put right sides together, lining up any notches that you may have, and there is a dot here. So what you want to do is along this curved edge, you want to sew. This is at 5/8, so sew at 5/8. Then you want to trim it, and then you want to turn it right side out. All right, so then it would look like this. And then along the long edge, you want to finish that long edge. Okay, so finish it at, with your serger or with your zigzag. Do that and come back. So your guard should look something like that. Give it a good press if you haven't already done so. Now, what you want to do is unzipping your fly, because we'll be working on this side, that don't have any protection. And so what you want to do is basically line up, turn it so you're looking at, the wrong side. And you want to line up loose threads, long threads, the bottom. And if you can, just line it up against the already serged line there. You can cover it up a little bit. Oops, wrong way. And what you want to do is just ensure that it reaches the top at least. All right, so you know, something like that. Okay, and you just want to pin it in place. And then from the right side, you're going to use your existing stitch line and just go as far as down as you can go. Okay, once you do that, you're going to come back over to this side and you're going to take, you know, this side of your guard and you're going to go over to the other flap here, and you're basically going to line them up like this, and this little bit of edge that you have here, you're just going to tack it so this won't be flapping around. That's all. So you're just going to tack it to the other side, you know, with a couple of zigzags. Do that and you'll be all finished with your fly. Yay! All right, so now we're moving on to step number 4, which is pinning the side fronts, which is pattern piece number 2 to the front, which is what we just sewed up. We're going to stitch it at the side front, and then you're going to press the seam toward the front, okay, toward your fly, and then you're going to, for number 5, top stitch front 1/4 inch from the seam. So you're basically just tacking the seam allowance down so it doesn't flop anywhere. Now my fabric is fraying. Twill, you know, hey, it is what it is. It frays. So I can, if I wanted to, serge it all the way around now, but I'm going to try not to, so I can save some serging thread. But anyway, so after you, so for finishing, so you would know. So once you sew that seam, if you didn't already finish yours individually, you want to serge it or zigzag the seam that you know, so when you sew the side front to the front, you want to go ahead and finish that off before you do the 1/4 inch. All right, so go ahead and pin your side front to your front. Go ahead and sew it, and then you're going to finish it, the seam allowance, if you didn't do it individually. And then you're going to press your seam allowances toward the front, and you're going to stitch 1/4 inch away, tacking down your seam allowance. Go ahead and do that and come back. All right, and did your stitching, attaching the front to side front and doing your top stitch there. And as you can see, it was just getting, so I just did the sides, so hopefully that'll stop that from unraveling as much as it is. So let's move on to, we're at number 8 now, which just says finish the slanted edge of the front pocket with a 5/8 narrow hem. So basically what you needed to do is, so looking at the wrong side, let's look at this one to match the picture. They want you to finish this side, finish the bottom, and finish the sides. And they're telling here to fold it in like a triangle and then fold it up. As so the triangle there. But I finished all my sides just because it was just raveling so much. Okay, so it says to do that. All right, so I done marked my pockets with my marking tool, just so I know where the 5/8 is. It doesn't say to baste it once you turn everything under, but if you wanted to keep it in place, I guess it won't hurt to baste it. So all I'm doing is, let's see if you can see my little dots there, and I'm just turning it in on those dots. And that's how I do mine. And with my fabric, it's actually pretty good. It's like you can crease it, you know, kind of get it going there. Kind of hold its shape. And most definitely, it's probably best to use a pressing cloth. But so you're going to baste raw edges together. So the raw edges are the ones we didn't turn under, which is the top and the side. So you're going to baste those together. And then you're going to top stitch from the front to lower edge. So from here down and over. All right. Top stitch. All right, so that's 7. Once you finish doing all that, come back and we'll move on.